Yes, there we are. Well, it is. It's great to be back. Of course, if you haven't been to the show, I am Sergey Brown, and we've got Miss Dawn here. Dawn, baby, say hi to everyone.
Good evening, all.
That's right. That is the very excited voice of my assistant right there. Eileen, you're exactly right. Yes, yeah, I just took some clips and put that together. But one of the clips I took was of the 10 coming out of California. So good job on that. Well, we've got a lot of stuff to talk about, and we're doing a little different this season. I'm kind of dialing in my show, and I'm going to have one topic for each show. And tonight's topic, of course, is that the government does not have the right to spray us during an inversion when everybody else is not allowed to add to the pollution because it's deadly, it's toxic and completely horrible. So without further ado, I'm just going to get right to it. Now, we've had a lot of trouble with X. So if you have not had a chance, move over to Substack. We're going to build our Substack to be the center of our show, but we're starting on X because, well, we have it. We have it right here. So why not?
No, they lifted the ban off of you for a while.
And they have lifted the ban off me. They pulled the jackboot off of my throat for a little bit and give me some time to breathe. So make sure you join my Substack because that is where they never stop me. So when the government knowingly introduces aerosol into the atmosphere during a temperature inversion, the act meets the very definition of assault with a deadly weapon. Well, let's just take a look at that. Assault with a deadly weapon is a violent crime defined as an unlawful attempt coupled with present ability to commit a violent injury upon another person using a deadly weapon or force likely to produce great bodily harm. Well, we can see from, as you'll see later on in the show, that these inversions do create great bodily harm to the point that they tell people stay inside or you might die. It does not require the victim to be physically injured, only that they were placed in fear of harm. It does us a lot of good to make sure that we understand the law. And as you know, the Clear Skies movement and Reclaim Our Skies and Stand for Health Freedom and Dr. Group. And I mean, really, there's 5G,
They're rolling out 6G soon, aren't they?
Zero GeoEngineering. Susan Clark, all of these people are fighting right alongside with us to make sure. And I am just kind of the voice of it all. So yes, they are going to be rolling out 6G pretty soon. And that is, scary as hell. Mm-hmm. We saw with 5G that the ability for our phones to operate was not all that good. As a matter of fact, the 4G and the LTE were much better for me anyways. Let me know in the chat if it was better for you, but 5G just was absolutely horrific when it first came out. It's not all that much better right now, but I'm not exactly sure that 5G is for phones. I think they call it 5G, but I don't think that it is for phones.
Baby, you have a person on Substack.
Fantastic.
It's Vectum.
Vectum. I love you. I learned how to do, I'm doing that right, baby. Look at, so there you go. Vectum, thank you very much for holding it down over there. We're going to get you a lot more company. Guys, make sure that you check out my Substack. And yes, these are shameless, self-indulging plugs because X has absolutely crippled me. We went from 1,500 viewers a night doing 5 nights a week to nothing. I couldn't even stream after a while. So yeah.
And that's why we went bye-bye for a while.
That is exactly why. Now let's get back to it. A temperature inversion is not just a mystery. It's not debated science. It's not speculative. It's a condition the state itself classifies as a dangerous system that is dangerous to human health. That's why air stagnation advisories exist. That's why burn bans exist. And that's exactly why citizens are warned when we get up into that yellow, red, and purple to stay indoors. Because during an inversion, the air stops moving. Cold air is trapped at ground level. Warm air caps it from above. Vertical mixing shuts down. Nothing escapes upward. Anything introduced into that atmosphere stays where people live. And it falls to us because there's no upward draft. And you'll see, in just a second, it's going to fall down to where the children breathe and play, to where the elderly breathe. And that's getting me. I'm 62. And that's the age that they want to get rid of. By they, I mean our United States government, the deep state, and everybody who has been stealing the taxpayer blind. But it falls where people with lungs breathe. And that's you and me. This is not my interpretation. That is the state's own understanding of the physics. And that's where the line is crossed. Because once a condition is officially declared hazardous, knowingly adding material into that environment is no longer neutral. And I'm talking about geoengineering, stratospheric aerosol injection, solar radiation management, cloud seeding. All of it is toxic. Marine cloud brightening, where you guys live. I'm in Boise. I mean, it's really, it's been formidable here this past year. We've had 3 almost record-setting weeks-long inversions. It never happens like that, but it does now. The danger is foreseeable. The exposure is immediate. The ability to cause harm is present. Assault does not require injury. It requires exposure to imminent harm with the present ability to cause it. Let's take a look at this again, right there. Bang. It does not require the victim to be physically injured, only that they were placed in fear of harm. That is the law. That's what it says. That's how they enforce it. If you menace somebody, you can be charged with assault with a deadly weapon. So I'm not exactly sure why the U.S. government gets a pass, but it does, and that's just the way it is. So if the air is dangerous enough that citizens are told to stay inside, then it is going to be dangerous enough that nothing should be added to it. Authorization does not change biology. Language does not change physics, and policy does not suspend consequence. And yet, during these same declared emergencies, authorized atmospheric activity, chemtrails, if you want to use the fancy, I love the name chemtrails. I mean, if you want to use the family name, is permitted to continue. It's the same air. It's the same lungs that breathe in. It's the exact same physics, but different rules. Tonight, I am not here to speculate. I'm not here to debate intent. I'm not here to accuse motives. Did you see that? I winked, babe. I'm here to walk through this system, walk through how the system actually operates, using the state's own definitions, its own warnings, and its own standards, because a condition the state declares dangerous does not become safe when the state acts inside it. And once danger is acknowledged, responsibility exists. Now, I'm using the word state as state government or a country state, right? So I am talking about both the federal and the local governments that turn around and fill our sky with toxins during these events.
Victim says, I like that James O'Keefe used the term chemtrails in Davos.
I know, right? Oh my God. It's just absolutely wonderful.
And Elaine Flanagan said,
Eileen.
I'm sorry. There it is. Yeah, Eileen. Wing bugs hatching every day, trees budding, robins here, never left, no snow, warmest winter on record for Idaho.
Yeah.
No rain, no sun, fog.
Yeah.
And then I think it's what, the French toast?
Well,
That's a nice way of swearing.
Exactly. I like that because I'm not a big swearer.
I am.
Right? Yes. We have brought the drunken sailor to the table.
I'll be nice tonight.
So let's take a look at this. What is an inversion? Now, this is NOAA's very own site. So they're going to tell us a little bit about this. A temperature inversion is a layer in the atmosphere in which air temperatures increase with height. An inversion is present in the lower part of the cap. And we have a fancy picture here to show you. The cap is a layer of relatively warm air aloft above the inversion. Air particles or air parcels rising into the layer become cooler and the surrounding environment, which inhibits their ability to ascend. So here we go. Cooler air, warmer air, no inversion. Warmer air, cooler air, inversion. What do you notice? What do you notice the big difference is between these two pictures? Clouds. And we're going to get to that in a minute, but there's no clouds in this. Maybe it's just an oversight, right? Because obviously, there's we see clouds nonstop. We can't even see the sun. It's we've had a hundreds of miles long and wide inversion for weeks here at a time, and you can't even see the sun. So, and it's not the lower level stuff that burns off during the day. It's the higher level stuff. Air near the ground cools more quickly than air aloft. This is most likely when the sky is clear and the wind light and calm. Cooling will occur most readily in low places, such as valleys sheltered from the wind. I've got wind in low places. This often happens in the late afternoon and early evening before sunset and lingers into the next morning after sunrise for a few hours. So normally inversions will last a day or two, and that's how it used to be. Now we have inversions lasting weeks, and it's not just here in Boise. They've had them in Washington, in Oregon, in California, Tennessee, Florida had an inversion not too long ago, if I remember correctly. They're becoming very popular. Inversions are extremely popular now.
And they smell.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, it's pollution and smoke. It's just, and it smells metallic. I mean,
definitely.
It's all the toxic nanoparticles that are raining down on us. Because when you have no air movement going up and down, right, then everything that's up here comes right down, and it comes into that locked area that nothing can get out of. Since warm air rises, air under the inversion cannot escape because it's cooler than farther aloft. Smoke and pollution get trapped.
You gotta learn to read there, Mr.
I know. Good Lord, I gotta get my chops back. Here's the inversion right here, and I'm not going to bore you with all sorts of things, but again, take a look at this. Cloud, no cloud. Let's go down here. This I find extremely interesting. Temperature inversions, the signs. Clear skies, no clouds. Bingo, bazinga. You know what? I take pictures of the sky and everything all along, but I took the last week or so, 9 days that we've had this latest inversion. I took pictures, and you tell me if there are any clouds. Now, the inversion normally has a very low cloud layer, but you can see here, we've got clouds all over the place. The clouds, and nothing but clouds. Now, most of these pictures were taken earlier in the day. By the time it gets nighttime, it just is completely and utterly, the sky is a blanket. There is no peeking through. Now, today was different. We had some sunshine peeking through the clouds. It was beautiful.
Because the inversion's gone.
Because the inversion is gone and the weather swept through and pushed it away. But it doesn't stop them from spraying tomorrow. I didn't really see much spraying today. No. I saw it early in the morning. But by 10 o'clock, the inversion was gone. That's what they said. And so I guess, that's just the way it is. Now, we've got to talk about why this is happening. Who gets hurt? How does this, how does this happen? Here's how the National Weather Service describes it, right? I just laid that out. They're locking absolutely everything in place beneath us. That's exactly why regulated pollutants pile up. And it's why breathing this air is declared hazardous. They're not saying, oh my goodness, maybe you shouldn't, you might not want to go outside. They're saying, if you have any kind of conditions, right? We were under the yellow warning, and the time before we got up to the orange warning, which pretty much said, okay, hold on. Yeah, if you don't have to go outside, you might not want to, because it's going to kill you. And we have seen how other places, California, Washington, and Oregon, all had very dangerous inversions back in December when we had a very very dangerous one. It was so thick you could not see across the street here. Do you remember that?
The fog.
The fog, the inversion, I mean, how bad it was. I'm particularly susceptible to it because I got good lungs, and so
no, you don't. Like, honestly, we open the window for a second, and he's coughing.
A little asthma every now and then, and it never bugs me until we get
if you have to take the dog out, he comes back in just dead, can't breathe. So yeah, for someone like Sergey, inversions are dangerous.
They're not very. Pardon me. They're not very nice. I'll
what
take
he sounds like. Eileen says allergies perpetual. Yeah, constant.
And more and more people are telling me that they're coming down with allergies that they've never had in their entire lives. People with sinus infections and throat infections and virtually anything that has to do with the respiratory, heart disease. Of course, we know that the
even our dog. I mean, she's 12, but she's in good health.
Yep.
But she goes outside, she starts breathing funny.
Yeah.
During an inversion.
It's dangerous. It's just flat out dangerous. And then when you add, and I think that one of the reasons that it is so dangerous is because they're adding strontium, barium, aluminum, or if you're British, aluminium, graphene oxide. They're putting toxins in. I mean, look at all of stuff that we have seen in these really weird fogs. And then bang, immediately everybody comes down with the same thing. Morgellons. I'm sure that they're trying to get that, to be the next real popular disease. But
Vectum on Substack, because he's our only guy with me on Substack today.
Yay.
But let's get more people over there. But the phone makes me cough. I put it down and cough stops. Undeniable.
Oh, well, so one of the things that we know is that the electromagnetic frequencies that come off your phone very much affect people who are close to them. Mm-hmm. And some, as you get older, you become more affected because you become more inflamed. And inflammation, let me know this. It wasn't until about 2019, late 2019, early 2020, right when COVID hit, that I started all of this inflammation. It has been horrible. It's like I don't think I've got a day where I don't feel like a rusty old tin machine.
It's a battle to try to keep inflammation down, for sure.
Yeah, for everybody. And it is one of the number one causes of death amongst people because it puts such a strain on your
system,
heart, your lungs, your system, your brain, everything. It's just, constantly.
Wow. Eileen says Idaho allows slash burning during inversions. That's crazy.
Right. So here's the thing, right? Slash burning, they do that. Developers burn slash or the logging community, right? Big business. But if you and I were to light a fire, it'd be over. Take me away. That's what would happen. It would not be very nice because we are the slaves. We're the prisoners.
Well, I think she's saying, doesn't Scott do slash burnings?
Yeah, sometimes, but not during an inversion.
Oh,
yeah. So, that's the contrarian thing about it is that it's laws for thee, but not for me.
Oh,
and thee would be us. So. This matters because inversions suppress vertical movement. The atmosphere is capped. Air does not rise. Clouds require lift. They require vertical motion. Inversions shut that down. Horizontally, an inversion stretches as far as the weather system. That can mean hundreds of miles in diameter, entire valleys, entire population corridors. Vertically shallow, horizontally massive. Functionally, that creates a gas chamber condition on a regional scale. Not a room, not a building, but a vast area capped from above with everything, absolutely everything, accumulating in the area that is having the inversion. And that's right here at breathing level. I find that disturbing. So temperature inversions are already classified as public health emergencies. Now, let's take a look and see who these inversions apply to. This rule applies to the general public. I'm reading right here. And businesses that emit air pollution. Don't you think that the government, both the state, local, and federal government, should be included in that? Eileen, we need to get our people here in Idaho on that and start making these rules for everyone, because it is ridiculous to think that our government is allowed to spray us like we are redheaded stepchildren, but they do not get to but we do not get to push back. And if we do, we're called conspiracy theorists, or we're called crazy, or sometimes we're locked up because we said something our government didn't like. And we now have, a government that is, I'm going to just say it. It seems like a dictatorship to me. I could be wrong. I'm not, but it could be. And I guess that's the takeaway. So temperature inversions are already classified as public health emergencies. That is the fact. Here we go. The rules are telling us. And look at this. Thousands in 2 states told to stay indoors as air fills with heart attack causing toxins. That is the truth. And let's take a look at this. Thousands in Oregon and California told to stay inside due to unhealthy air quality. And I was reading this earlier, and it says, who faces the greatest risk? Unhealthy air quality poses particular dangers to vulnerable populations. Before I read the rest, these are, and I'll highlight, this is where I'm reading. These are the populations that they really want to get rid of, right? They want the working class. They want the young, healthy bodies that are already trained. But there's a reason that we've got replacement. It's called replacement theory, the great replacement theory. But it's not because we have tens of millions of illegals that never assimilated to American culture already pushed in. I mean, white people in general, and this is not a racist thing. I'm saying if we cared about everybody equally, white people have gone from 87% of America down to, I think, 63%. They're saying that in 10 years, we could be down in the 40s. And all of a sudden, the bottom's dropping out. And we're not having babies. We need to start hooking our young people up. Teach them how to raise a family and the importance of it. I almost sounded like I was like on one of the Epstein people. Hook the young kids up. No, not saying that. What I'm saying is...
Where are you going with that?
Well, I'm just saying that our government, right, the people that face the greatest risk are the elderly, children, and those with existing heart and lung conditions. And what that is that's elderly, the young children, and the infirm, the already sick. This is who our government wants to get rid of. Lee Zeldin, he's admitted, yes, we're doing this, but it's not that big of a deal. It's a great big deal. I think it's an enormous deal.
Jay Gibson on X said, when you're on the right path, they will try to stop you.
Yeah, they certainly will. And Lord knows that we have been crushed. Another shameless plug for join us at Substack. Just go find Sergey vs. Goliath, Sergey versus Goliath on Substack. Follow me there. Start watching there, because I guarantee you sooner or later, X is going to shut me down again.
And you also have really great articles there to
And
read.
I do have a lot of great articles.
Yeah, he writes, I don't know how often you're writing them now, but...
I'll write them more. I'll write them more often. Now that we have time, I got to tell you, just on a personal note here, it has been one hell of a year. Very, very,
We're a month and 10 days into it.
Oh my God. Well, but I mean, just this entire last year,
Yeah.
it's been rough. And that's why we took a little time off from doing the show. Just, make sure that we can get through it. And I really appreciate everybody that has reached out to me from the Clear Skies movement, on X, on Substack, on Facebook, right? I really do appreciate it. And there's a lot of great people listening right now. And I can't tell you how much we really appreciate it. Let's get off the sappy stuff.
Just wait. Vectum said there's been 4 similar Daily Mail articles since December, state north, south, east, and west.
Right? I mean, it's like they're just stamping it out. This is intentional, and it is criminal. And here's what I'm driving at. I think that somebody like, Siri Hemstad or, another brave law firm should start looking into this, because if you are spraying during an inversion when our own government is, to both our state government and our federal government, is saying this is hazardous. Do not pollute. Don't put any more junk in the air. If they are telling you that.
And then they put the planes out and let them just
endless. Did you guys see the cartoon I made and put up on my X and over there on Substack? It is exactly that, right?
Mm-hmm.
The bad air day. Yeah. And then all of a sudden they're telling you, don't pollute. You can't do this.
But we can.
But we can. And there's there's nothing you can say. If you say something, you're going to be in trouble. If you do anything, you're going to be in deep trouble. But we can absolutely smother you. So if intentional atmospheric activity continues during a declared emergency, exposure becomes routine. And that's what we're seeing. What was once treated as an exception becomes the standard operating procedure. It is like when they have a red tide, right? You're not supposed to eat the clams and all that. Well,
crabs, yeah.
Eat the crabs. But let's say somebody goes out
or swim in it.
Yeah, or swim in it and pulls a bunch of crabs out. Well, we don't want them. We'll just throw them away, but we just wanted to go do it. Well, that's almost how it feels like with what the government's doing. They know it's bad for us. They're not here breathing this air, so they do it.
Stephen Lucier,
yep,
west side of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, has been very heavily chemtrailed since 2008. That is also when the sun went white looking. Everything is dying or dead.
Tell me this. See, here's what's happening is they're putting so much stratospheric aerosol injection, solar radiation management into the sky that they're now blocking out the red, very healthy rays. Does anybody have that red mask that people are so thrilled about?
No.
Yeah, red light therapy.
Oh, red light therapy.
Yeah, red light therapy.
Yeah, the facial mask.
Yeah,
I have one.
Right, because red light is vitally important.
Yeah.
It is tremendously important.
Yeah, we're not getting it from the sun.
We're no longer getting the sun, and it's not just us. We're no longer getting the sun's nutrients. What we're getting is a bunch of toxins. The problem is that our bees are not getting it, the frogs are not getting it, the fish are not getting it, the sheep are not getting it, the cows are not getting it, the plants are not getting it, the insects are not getting it. Nothing, no one is getting that nutrition that for a billion years has been feeding this planet's surface. Mm-hmm. That's the problem right there. So, so what do we do? What are we going to do?
But
Well,
Vectum says they're locking in the toxins at ground level like they made gullible people do by locking in toxins on their faces. Yeah, with
absolutely.
the idiotic COVID diapers.
And these toxins are absorbed by the children, the elderly, anybody that breathes it in, not by regulators, not by agencies, and not by those who authorize this activity. They don't care. They're protected. They've got trillions of dollars worth of underground cities that they have built for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Where are the torches and pitchforks? I want to know that because I'm just curious. I'm really curious. What do you guys have planned if something goes south? Right? Well, nothing. We get to stay, and really our bloodlines get to be disappeared. But
Oh, I'm sorry. Go
but
ahead.
that small group that is killing us on a daily basis, they get to use our taxpayer dollars that I have worked hard for. Miss Dawn has worked hard for. Maddie Lou
Everyone.
doesn't do anything. That Eileen and Vectum and Jay and Steven, that we've all worked so hard for, they get to use that tax dollar to make sure that they and theirs are safe.
So Julie joined us on Substack.
Oh,
And she used to follow us on. I'm pretty sure she used to be the only other Substack person.
well, hi, Julie. Thank you very much.
She wrote, I feel like they targeted my house because I preach about the harmful geoengineering daily. Today in the Texas Hill Country, above my house, 31 planes spraying. Wow, 31. That I was able to see, not looking all day long. My deer look so scrawny and their fur is a mess. I've never seen it before in the 4 years I've lived here.
Wasting. So many animals are wasting now. It's going to become more and more. We're going to see it more and more.
Yeah.
Pardon me. You have to excuse my coughing. The inversion is just clearing, but it is still very polluted. The air, even though we're inside and we've got all this fancy stuff, and it creeps in, and so I'm have to clear my throat. Otherwise, I'm going to talk like a frog.
Really?
So, yeah, exactly. Now, I know where I was.
You were talking about scrawny animals.
We have deer that are wasting away. Of course, we just found out recently, and all of us, have known it, that the ticks, and especially Lyme disease, but now the meat disease also, the meat allergy disease, that is all government, a government plan supported. It was done so we could make more people sick. Get them with Lyme disease. Get the ticks out there. And now they've got all these rabies things. And I've been watching more and more stories of animals popping up with rabies. Rabies has been all but non-existent. There's no reason that we need to address it, except the same reason that they needed to do gain of function on a virus that was notoriously contagious, that we financed with your and my tax dollars. That's why they do it, to infect people and to infect you in ways that you don't even know. We don't know what the long-term effects of COVID-19 was, and we certainly don't know what the long-term effects are of the very, very deadly shot, the COVID vaccines.
Beckham also said, I never saw a deer in my area in my life, but this summer a deer wandered in. I think the animals are becoming confused and lost. And then, and we'll address that in a sec.
Yeah.
Stephen also said, targeting homes. Just popped up. My nighttime cameras light up like daylight. Sometimes at night, I can see 800 feet when only supposed to see 90 feet.
Wow.
And then infrared night vision. Eileen says there's a small mid aka no-see fly.
No-see-ums, yeah.
Yeah, fly that's causing
Hemorrhagic fever.
Thank you.
In white-tailed deer, yeah.
Oh, you're reading it.
Yeah. They lie.
They
They die
die.
within 24 to 48 hours.
That's horrific.
Yeah, and you want to know what's horrific? One of the reasons that they map the human genome, and then one of the other reasons that they put up all the Ancestry.com and the 23andMe is to get real world DNA. Everybody's map the human genome first, then figure out what affects the most people. If that no-see-um creates hemorrhagic fever, that small midge, it probably is not going to be, hemorrhagic fever in deers. It's probably not going to be that long before it is causing that exact same condition in humans.
Julie also commented on the animals becoming confused and lost. She wrote, "I think humans are confused and lost from from the poisons as well." And I agree with you, Julie. I say that constantly. Like, people never acted like maniacs like they are now, like losing their effing minds and
people are
screaming at
crazy.
People, and I just don't think people are well.
No, they're not well at all.
I mean, it totally is affecting not just animals, it's affecting humans.
Yeah.
And it's not just the air we're breathing now, it's the food we're eating. It's so you compound all that together.
Yeah.
That's a scary recipe for our
very
brains.
Scary. Very, very scary. The problem is that we don't know what's coming next.
Right.
And that's why we need to band together and stop this. Stop it in its tracks. Listen, I mean, I'm all for people, everybody, stop working, stop paying your taxes, stop buying anything for a month. Suffer for 1 month. It will send an enormous message to the government if 100 million people step out of life for a month.
System Normal, which I don't think I've ever had the pleasure of.
Hi, System Normal. How you doing there?
Pet owners urged to avoid bait packets. USDA airdropping rabies vaccine in 6 states.
Yeah, it's. I guarantee you, it's not a vaccine. And what does a vaccine have in it that makes it a vaccine?
Poison.
Has a small part of the live virus.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not a government. I'm not a government shill, but I'll tell you this. I may not have some sort of a fancy science degree, but I do know that if you start dropping packets with a live rabies virus in it, and then you cover your ass by saying, don't let your pets get to it. Come on. That's right. Just a horse pucky right there. Absolutely. Sorry for the words.
Julie says, we need Alex Jones to bullhorn, and we should join him in the White House.
There we go. I love that.
And then Stephen says, February 5th, we watched a helicopter lift 6G towers assembling 1 mile away from us, confirmed by the Moon Township, PA, manager, which is Pittsburgh International Airport.
Yeah.
6G is not going to be good, people.
It's not going to be good at all. We have seen, and I'm trying to pull up an image here. We'll just share that. Someone keeps sewing down this speed camera in Toronto, right? We've got that. We've got this. People cutting down cameras and lights. I mean, it's just, is this what has to happen? People knocking stuff down, fourth speed camera cut down. Oh, I don't know where.
I think those are just speed cameras. I'd like to see.
But it's not speed cameras, and one of the things that they're doing in the UK and in Ireland especially is they're cutting down these cameras because they have facial recognition on them, and they're tracking people's movements. They're tracking everybody. It's becoming a prison. So, yeah, there's that.
All right, go back.
But that's where it is now. To continue. Let's talk about the mechanism, because this is very important. It's how they do it. The step-by-step flow goes something like this. An inversion forms. Vertical mixing shuts down. Air stops clearing upward. Pollutants accumulate at breathing level. Exposure intensifies. And then the health risks increase dramatically. Funneling mass populations into the healthcare system. No motive is required for this chain to operate. No intent is necessary. This is atmospheric mechanics. But the problem is that we have institutional players. Whenever I look like this, I'm looking over at Miss Dawn. I can see her like right through there. So, we've got institutional players. But here's the thing. They tip the scale on this. And here's what I mean. Here in Idaho, we have agencies like the Idaho Department of Environmental Quality, the DEQ. Environmental Protection Agency is the national version of that, the EPA. We have got the Idaho Department of Water Resources, Idaho Water Resources Board, the Idaho Power and Southern Idaho cloud seeding projects. Cloud seeding, it is not all it's cracked up to be. And I'll tell you, I would encourage you to look into what departments your state has. But we also have contractors and federal programs like NOAA, NASA, DARPA, the U.S. Air Force, NGOs and councils like Rainmaker, Palantir, the Harvard Solar Geoengineering Research Programs. Here's Rainmaker. There we go. Look at that fancy site. Rainmaker, Augustus Dorico, he's been on my show before.
Before he got too big.
Before he got too big for his pantalones. Is that how you say pants? Am I saying something dirty? It's the innovating our way to water abundance. Isn't this nice?
We never get rain here.
Beautiful. Restoring the ecosystem over time. Wow. I mean, are these guys wonderful? Cloud seeding delivers moderate, predictable increase in precipitation. Well, if it's moderate, how are they restoring the ecosystem over time? Well, maybe we should just believe them because they're just such good people with a fancy sight. And look at it, just hiking out in the middle of nowhere with their drones. But here's the problem, is they're backed up by the same guy that owns this, Palantir, probably one of the most vicious and disturbing companies on the planet. And they are both owned by Peter Thiel. And if you don't know who Peter Thiel is, he started with, the X founder, Elon, and they started PayPal, and they sold that and became billionaires. And then they both went on to essentially take over the world. They're multi-billionaires. And Peter Thiel, he runs stuff for the government that would make even the most ardent science fiction writer nervous. So that's what we're talking about here. These are the people that are doing the spraying, the cloud seeding, the solar radiation management, the rain cloud brightening, the geoengineering, the 5G, the 6G, the HARP, the Raytheon project. Here's Harvard Solar Geoengineering Research Program. Tell me that this is that you have a friend that doesn't believe that this is happening. We've got trillions of dollars pumped into geoengineering, and people are still saying, we hear it all the time. That's just contrary. I don't think so. I wonder why the weather's just been so weird this year.
Stephen Lucier says BlackRock, Gates, and a third someone has joined to work together to buy and own all the water companies in the USA.
Absolutely. Yeah. Nestle just came out and said, I don't think that there should be that people have a right to water. And this guy right here, Bill Gates, you're exactly right. Evil. And his father was evil. Oh, yeah. I'm from Seattle, the Seattle area. His father did the same thing that Bill, that's where Bill learned how to do it.
Stephen also says, here along the Ohio River, we are taxed $84 a year for rainwater runoff on all properties, started around 2016.
Well, absolutely, right? Because you don't think that Mr. Bill here or Peter Thiel, you don't think that they're going to pay for it? Of course not. You don't think that Donald Trump with all his billions will pay for it? No, he's not. You don't think that Jeff Bezos and all of the rest, all the names that the royal families of this burg and that place and wherever, they're not going to pay for anything. It's up to you and me. We have to pay for our own destruction. Otherwise, it just simply doesn't work.
Yeah. Beckham says Elon literally posted on X that he plans to use satellites to block the sun to stop global warming.
Yeah. So,
what a piece of shit. I'm sorry.
Is it global warming, or is it a way for them to take another step in the communication? One of the reasons that we're all confused is because we have so much frequency being literally run through our bodies. I don't know if you guys have listened to Sayer G or Dr. Group talk about transhumanism, but it's a real thing. And if you don't take my word for it, if you don't believe me, great, fine. Look it up and start looking at what happens when you transhumanize somebody. I'm not talking about trannies, transsexuals, and all that creepy, weird stuff. What I'm talking about is we are breathing in nanoparticleized robots that are turning our bodies into towers. Where we've got 7.5, almost 8 billion of these towers walking around the world now. They have to have water in the air up there in order to do it. And so what they do is they keep changing the weather. They have super saturated regions. They'll use the Doppler radar to suck everything up in and push all of that up while you and I dry out. Right? Why we get skin rashes and diseases, why our cognitive capabilities just absolutely are not there anymore. While we can't raise an animal that doesn't waste away. While all of that is happening, these people are eating the finest foods that is raised in Argentina. We got Argentinian beef. Screwworms. We got screwworms coming to America. Thank God. It's, I don't know. If I haven't said it, I'm going to say it right now. The time to fight is now. And I don't mean strapping a bomb vest on and running in someplace. That just makes you crazy. Well, it makes you dead. But other than that, it does make you crazy. What I mean is we have got to band together and fight this takeover of America. I think we've already lost the Republic. Can we get it back? What do you guys say in the chat? Do you think that we can get the Republic back if enough of us are talking about it? And that's why we said, all right, we're going back to the show. We're going to be the mouthpiece.
No, I feel like all is lost. But this was Stephen says, truth be told, I am a 64-year-old mRNA created before World War II and placed in me in 1960. I knew all about mRNA by April 2018. It changed my DNA's proteins.
Yes, absolutely. They had to experiment on somebody. And so, why not you, Stephen? That's, whenever you join the military, you literally sign away all your rights. I
don't think he was in war. Were you? You're not. Yeah. He wasn't in World War II. He's only 64.
Oh, no. Oh, yeah.
As a child, he got it probably.
You're 2 years older than me.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Welcome to the club. So these entities operate within existing authoritarian frameworks. Their presence explains how activity occurs and not why. So now we need to design the flaw or the incentive. What is the incentive? Well, this is where accountability breaks down. Temperature inversions are officially acknowledged as dangerous for certain emission categories, while other categories remain permitted under the same conditions. I find that concerning, right? You and I are not allowed to do something. As a matter of fact, when COVID hit, you and I were not allowed to, we lost our restaurant twice. They closed us down twice. We couldn't find help. They were paying people to stay home. But I'll tell you who was allowed to stay home. McDonald's, Burger King.
Not home, open.
Or stay open, rather. Thank you very much. It's nice that you're listening to me. See, my cognitive ability is gone.
Yeah, you have been slowly declining.
Deteriorating right in front of your eyes. we have watched how Amazon was allowed, the drivers, their delivery drivers were allowed to deliver. We watched how virtually
They were allowed to make
everybody.
movies, and they were allowed to have restaurants
Yeah.
open while feed them while they're doing their movies.
Yeah, and we had senators like Lindsey Graham and
They all went out,
congressmen
had
like Nancy
parties.
Pelosi and mayors and governors, all going out to the high-priced fancy dinners, getting there, demanding that a hair place. Nancy Pelosi demanded that her hair place open so she could go get her hair did. But they're not allowed to serve anybody else. The restaurants that were completely forced to close, it crippled the mom and pop restaurant industry. And that's a tough industry. I know, I was in it for a long time. Very, very, very tough industry. You close them for a year or two.
Yeah, there's
no chance coming
That was
back.
us.
Yeah, and it can it's just ruin entire families. I mean, it's so sad, so absolutely sad.
Back to Stephen. It was I can't say it.
What?
Thalidomide survivor.
Thalidomide. Yep.
And then he also wrote, all the health related goes to Rockefellers who created the WHO.
Who?
Health.
See what I did there?
I was going to say.
I'm speaking owl.
You're speaking owl.
Yeah.
Health colleagues and industries funded by the Nazi med experiment.
Not by, but they did the Rockefellers and the Bushes and Adam Schiff's grandfather, Jacob Schiff, the Merrimans, the Bushes. They all funded the Nazis. They found Hitler. They funded him and
MSM by the 1960s.
And they sold weapons to both sides. Just killing a lot of people just for the fun of it.
Eileen saying, please call Idaho Rep. Vito Barbari. There's the number. Kindly ask, demand a hearing for all geoengineering bills.
All 3 geoengineering.
Thank you, Eileen.
Yes, Eileen, can you message me that so I have it? Also, I know it's in here, but I'll forget and just put it in my inbox or text me. Eileen has she's got the secret squirrel connection there. So what this does is reward bad behavior. Risk classification changes based on authorization status, not atmospheric reality. The condition does not change. The label does. That is the problem I have. So why is the system perpetuating itself? Well, the same physical environment is treated as lethal or benign depending on the policy framing, while biology remains constant. So it's the same thing with COVID. You gotta stay 6 feet away, or if you sit down at a table, you can take your mask off, and then COVID won't get to you. But if you stand up, you have to put your mask back on, right? You can take your mask off to eat. All right. Who's making these biological decisions? Well, not science, I'll tell you that. It is all framed as a political weapon. Air does not distinguish between authorized and unauthorized materials. Lungs do not recognize exemptions. The condition stays the same. Only the permission changes.
Can you read what Stephen says? My eyes are...
Yep.
Yep. Bush. Yep.
He said, yep, bushes were been pre... I bet he's talk texting just like I do.
Yeah.
World War II, Nazi Germany, original name, Sheriff.
Changed to
Sheriff.
When they renamed in America before becoming Bush.
Oh, right. Exactly.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Sorry, we're not very good at reading tonight.
Well,
I got to get a bigger screen.
I just kept thinking sheriff. I'm going to write.
Vectum says they program people to become hypochondriacs with OCD. Yeah. And they all have anxiety disorders. Like OCD is a form of it. But
right.
I see so many TikToks where a police I have anxiety disorders and you're making me feel really scared right now. Well, maybe you shouldn't drink and drive.
Right, exactly.
You're going to get in trouble.
Good God. All right, where are we? Let's see. I need to find. Yes. So here's my evidence, babe. Let's take a look at the states that already, or what the states already say on the record. Here we go.
This is your evidence?
Yep. This is what they say, right? Severe weather alert, air stagnation advisory. We get this. This is the
Oh, this is what we get on
third
our,
one.
Yeah.
Just this winter so far, we've had
3 of them.
3 of them. And then it says description: what an extended period of stagnant air with light winds and little vertical mixing. It's actually no. I mean, it's crazy. This is due to an inversion near the surface that will continue to trap pollutants, where portions of south central and southwest Idaho and southeast Oregon. It's a massive area, hundreds and hundreds of miles, where or when, until 10 a.m. MST. And of course, they always move. I screenshotted this, but they always move it up and move it up and move it up. Let's see. Impacts. Poor air quality may cause issues for people with respiratory problems.
That's you.
Right? This is the warning. What they're talking about is the PM 2.5, right? That is the particulate matter that is small enough to do some serious damage. The size of the particles directly linked to their potential for causing health problems. Small particles less than 10 micrometers. Yep.
Micrometers.
Micrometers in diameter pose the greatest problem because they can get deep into your lungs and some may even get into your bloodstream. So we have talked in the past about how stuff like graphene oxide can pass the blood-brain barrier. It can pass the placental wall, right? This is dangerous. This is very, very dangerous. The problem with graphene oxide is we know that we can vibrate it. And have you guys heard of Havana syndrome? Well, of course you have. It's been in the news lately also, but I spoke with Dr. Len Baer, who was on my first show that we had, the Crash Cart Rule. And we talked about the Havana syndrome. He is the only civilian to ever be diagnosed with Havana syndrome. What it is it's a target. Now, more civilians are being diagnosed with it, and it is a particle beam that is shot into somebody's skull, and it can debilitate you. They can put a message in there. It's insane.
I'm sure
never
that's
thought
happening
we'd
more
be,
now. I mean, that was a while ago, right?
No,
For him.
Oh, he still suffers from it.
Yeah, but he was one of the first. Now I'm thinking they're just freaking beaming all of us.
Oh, absolutely. And then, of course, we've got the Idaho puts out all of their fire restrictions, and you can't do this and you can't do that. You got to limit your pollution. This is already I feel like I'm dealing with a cartel here. They get to do it. We don't. They spray us in hundreds of lines in our sky every single day. Hundreds of lines. It's so much that we do not see the sun for weeks at a time. If a low layer of clouds comes in, they are on it. And they're cloud seeding. We can see. So one of the ways you know that cloud has been seeded, it looks like it's melting.
Mm-hmm.
That is the chemicals, the deadly, and they say, no, silver iodide and silver dioxide, it's not bad for you. Yes, it is bad for you. And what it does is it kills bacteria that is beneficial to our bodies, to the ground, to every living thing. It confuses the bees, it poisons them. It becomes this vicious cycle that really is unnerving. Me and a lot of other people. So it's, I don't know.
Beckham says, I think the inversions are being engineered in part to justify future lockdowns in the name of climate emergency.
Absolutely.
I totally agree.
I completely think that, and I've said it before, that I believe that climate lockdowns are coming. And it's one of the reasons that I feel so betrayed by President Trump. Mm-hmm. Is that he never stopped this stuff, and he's not arresting anybody. Nancy Pelosi walks free. Adam Schiff walks free. Jerry Nadler walks free. Lindsey Graham walks free. George Bush walks free.
I feel duped.
Yeah, I feel absolutely duped, lied to, completely lied to. And now they're trying to tell us to move on. And Dan Bongino, good God, what a miserable, worthless piece of beep.
He's got balls to come back.
No, he doesn't have any balls. That's why he's back.
Yeah, true.
And Kash Patel, Pam Bondi, I mean, they're now covering for people who literally are eating babies, just hunting. I mean, they're hunting humans. We've got millions of pages, and they do not want to unredact this. And quite frankly, if I vote ever again, and I'm on the fence about voting for a president again, because I just don't think it matters. But if I do, I'm voting for Thomas Massey.
Stephen,
at this point,
Stephen said the
thalidomide
DNA proteins.
They would give that to women for morning sickness, and it created Terry was affected by it, right? It does a lot of damage on the DNA level.
Says, are highly attracted to nerve and nerve centers and found to block signals. What will the Fauci mRNA do to people?
Well, we've already seen, what it's
does.
doing.
Yeah.
Right. It is literally laying waste to reproductive systems. The amount of miscarriages is off the chart. And now the amount of infertility is just, it's insane.
Vectum said Bongino was made an appearance on Hannity tonight to discuss the Guthrie distraction.
Yeah.
He's really bad now.
Yeah, I have lost all respect for Sean Hannity. I lost it quite a while ago. Just another, paid propagandist, government shill. But Dan Bongino, he
had a chance to be,
and he preached it.
Awesome.
He built a $6 million a year business out of preaching that he was. If I get in there, damn it, I'm doing something.
Yeah.
No. What he did was this.
Every time I see a pop up on my social media, I go right to the comments. They all say "F you, Bongino."
Oh God,
you're an idiot.
You had your chance. It's the only reason he's still on my radar is so I can read all the horrific things people are saying to him.
Yeah.
All right, so now let's look at what the states already say on the record. All right, when a temperature inversion forms, agencies issue area stagnation advisories. The public is warned to reduce outdoor activity because pollutants are trapped near the ground. I know I have said this any number of times, but it's because we need to understand what is happening in order to stop it. PM 2.5 health warnings say the same thing. Elevated particulate levels pose health risks. Check out the PM 2.5 ratings in your areas. You'll see they're not good when they're bad, especially to children, the elderly, and people with respiratory or cardio conditions. During these same conditions, burn bans and emission restrictions go into effect. Not symbolically, temporarily, absolutely prohibited explicitly because the air cannot clear. It is toxic. The language isn't unusual. It isn't rare. It appears year after year across agencies every single fall and winter. This isn't a one-off. This is standard procedure. And here's what's missing. There is no explanation for why intentional atmospheric introduction of stratospheric aerosol injection, SAI, or solar radiation management, SRM, or cloud seeding, or any of the other geoengineering programs, why they would be exempt during inversion. We're not told. As a matter of fact, they lie to us and say, oh, that's not happening. It's just theory. We've just dumped $1 trillion into theory a year. There is no alternate health standard that overrides these warnings. There's no physiological mechanic explaining why exposure would suddenly become safe. If you sit down at a table and you take your mask off, you're still safe because the virus doesn't know. Well, that's the same ridiculous nonsense that they're saying here. That it is, if we do something that creates more pollution during an inversion event, it's dangerous. But if the government dumps megatons into the atmosphere during the exact same event, that's safe. And there's no unified policy that reconciles emergency advisories with authorized activity. The danger is declared. The exception is not explained. I've got a serious problem with that. We have got to take these matters into our own hands. Eileen Flanagan, she is part of a phenomenal Idaho group that is helping to write the laws that govern us. Do not let big business, don't let lobbyists, don't let lawyers, don't let your congressmen or your senators write anything. They will absolutely do everything they can to put money in their pocket and to put money in their donors' pockets. Either they're compromised because they're diddling little kids, or they've murdered somebody, or they're an illegal and they don't want to be exposed. We have got to start writing the laws that govern us. If we do not take a step today, tomorrow looks really, really bleak. And I mean really bleak. I was just going to say something else, babe. I completely forgot. See, cognitive.
Brains being brains being dumbed down.
So, given everything that we've already established as facts, the next question is simple. Who structurally gains? Who structurally absorbs the risk? And why the official story can't hold? Start with who's benefiting. Agencies and regulatory bodies retain discretion without bearing direct exposure. They are the hidden ones. We don't know their names. We never elected them. They're a bunch of bureaucrats buried under miles of red tape, and we're not even allowed to FOIA some of these departments. Freedom of Information Act. Authorized activities continue uninterrupted during conditions that restrict absolutely everyone else. Not the federal government, not the state government, not even the local government. Policy framing allows action without public debate, without emergency declassification, and without personal consequences. This is a problem here, right? It's the same thing that we're going on about with Diddy, right? Diddy's getting out of jail pretty soon. Nobody that trafficked those women, that murdered people, nobody is being investigated. Nobody pays a price.
No one cares about the children.
Yeah. Epstein, everyone associated with Epstein, they're all getting off. They will not spend a minute in prison, let alone be hung for their crimes, what they should be. They should be
I want to stone people again.
Yeah. Well, why don't we bring stoning back?
Yeah. Stephen wanted me to also back to the mRNA. People don't realize the mRNA damages may amplify every 7 years when the body replaces all the DNA proteins anew. The process has killed most, I can never say that word, thalidomiders by blocking nerve signals.
Yes, absolutely.
Wow.
So that regenerative process is built into the attack. That is why mRNA technology is so dangerous. It's not just what's happening here. And I mean, we're going to be coming up on the 7-year mark in a few years of when they started doling out the vaccine for COVID. Wait until we see the devastation that comes along with that. I mean, it's incredible. But it's the same thing as spraying during inversion, right? It does not require intent. It doesn't require malice. The benefit exists because the risk is externalized. Now we need to look at who pays, and that's you and me and Miss Dawn and virtually everybody else that is not part of the government. Children, residents, people living during these advisories, right? They're the ones that are paying the price. The elderly people, the people with vulnerabilities, with comorbidities, that's a term that we were browbeaten with, citizens with no representation and no consent in the decision. The people warned to stay inside are the people absorbing the risk. And the people who are going outside and inhaling all this shiznit, those are the ones. This creates a moral inversion. See what I did there? Moral inversion.
Padinga.
We are told that inversions are dangerous and require public warnings. At the same time, authorized atmospheric activity, spraying, chemtrails, geoengineering, call it whatever you want, during these exact conditions is treated as acceptable. And it is the most vicious, violent, disgusting, horrid, acidic, inflammatory product that you can put in your body is what you're breathing in. But biology, it doesn't distinguish between accidental exposure and intentional introduction. The lungs don't know who authorized it, and where the public, and that's where the public's story collapses. We're just not represented. The same condition cannot be both an emergency and a neutral operating environment. Authority simply cannot suspend physics. Risk does not change because language changes. That's the crux of it right there. Mm-hmm. You cannot change the risk simply because you change the language. A boy cannot be a girl, and therefore a boy should not be able to get in a wrestling match. I just saw a tranny wrestling some poor girl, grabbing all of her bits. She turned over and literally almost yelled for her mom's help. You can't put them in women's locker rooms. You can't allow all of this dysfunction to happen. Well, it's the same thing with the skies. They're literally poisoning us. And not just us, they're poisoning your kids and your grandkids. They're poisoning your parents and your grandparents and your aunts and uncles and your cousins. They're poisoning your dogs and your cats, your pets.
Stephen says, remember on the day presidents are sworn into office, on that day, presidents can receive undisclosed bribes to buy favors. Trump loves money.
Yeah, he absolutely. And this is why bribes exist. Bribes exist so people can buy influence. It could be handled like that, right? You bribe somebody, bang, you're dead. That's it. End of story. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. And here's why. Because once you start putting an end to stuff, the fake government, well, it grinds to a halt. And not for you and I. For you and I, it works much better, right? Get rid of government, and I guarantee you, we won't have any wars. We won't have starvation. We won't have the wasting disease. We won't have any of that.
Jay Gibson on X.
Hey, Jay.
Yeah. When the people fear the government, there is tyranny.
Tyranny.
I'm sorry. When the government fears the people, there is peace.
That's exactly right.
That is what you were just saying.
There it is, right there, and that's what we're talking about. I mean, and
they have to start fearing us.
Yes, they better, and they need to start fearing us because we have earned that fear. If we don't earn that fear, they'll never fear us. Just because we say something, no, not at all. But once we do something, once we organize, once we strip them of power, once we put them behind bars or worse. That's what I'm talking about right there. So the condition, the state itself declares dangerous, doesn't become safe when the state acts inside it. Here's what we need to take away. When the government knowingly introduces aerosol into the atmosphere during a temperature inversion, the act meets the very definition of assault with a deadly weapon. And we need to start hunting that dog down, okay? If we are to be a free society again, then we must question any policy that contradicts basic biology, stop accepting emergency rules that are applied selectively, and stop confusing authorization with safety. Once danger is acknowledged, responsibility exits. Knowledge removes deniability. So, on Wednesday's show, I have been uh, really digging into modern catastrophe capitalism, right? All of these fires, it has happened forever. Do you guys remember Chicago when they said the cow kicked over the lantern and started the hay on
Burned
fire, and then
down.
it burnt all Chicago down? Well, that really wasn't what happened, and that's the Palisades fire wasn't just accidental, and the Paradise fire wasn't accidental, and the Lahaina fire wasn't cables, transmission cables, right? High energy transmission cables. No, it wasn't. All of these were an attack. And we're going to talk about that Wednesday. Make sure you join my Substack, because sooner or later,
This is limited on
yeah,
X.
this talk, is not going to be on X anymore, because they're going to throw me off and cancel my thing. Lord knows. So I'd love to hear what you think about tonight's show. Please feel free to comment on this. Share it. Tell people about it. Let's rebuild our
Community.
our community here, and
On Substack.
on Substack. Yeah, go to Substack. So I can't tell you. It reminds me of the first couple of months when Elon Musk had bought X. It's the Wild West, free everything, and then all of a sudden, bang, they slammed the door shut.
Mm-hmm.
So that brings us up to the end of another exciting program. I'm Sergey Brown.
And I'm Dawn.
And we will see you Wednesday, 7 p.m. Mountain Time.